Hello, welcome to another battle report. This is a 3,000 point match of Warhammer Fantasy between my Empire army and Anthony from the Sustainable Center's Warriors of Chaos. We used the Battleline deployment, and this was using the mindset that we were preparing Anthony for his 3,000 point tournament, Brawler's Bash. It's coming up actually very shortly. Anthony's already recorded his version of this report on his channel. I just figured I'd give one real quick, just to give my my perspective on the battle. Some quick commentary on list changes. Level 4 is death. The detachments are hanging on the swordsmen instead of the great swords, and I'm going to be using a Pegasus captain in this game because Anthony has a bunch of Pegasus Knights from his never-ending quest to collect every single miniature Bretonnia has ever had, will have, or will ever have, you know. And he gave me one, so I filed off all of the heraldry and all that stuff, and kind of kit-bashed a Pegasus captain to use. Also, while I would take a level 2 of metal, especially if I knew I was going up against this list, I wanted to also give him a less tailored experience. You know, like, I mean, a level 2 of metal is a really good addition to an Empire army, basically at any point value, because it helps to counter enemy heavy cavalry. And while this army has a lot of shooting, including the Hellblaster volley gun, Searing Doom as a signature is just a phenomenal spell. Enchanted Blades of Ibon, if you roll it, synergizes extremely well with some of the other abilities that this army has to buff units. But it was a little gamey because it was so super effective in the previous game that we played, so I just basically swapped it 1-for-1 with the Pegasus Captain, who is more of a generalist, kind of like troubleshooting unit. So that's just some of the army changes. Yep, here's just another shot of deployment. You can see most of Anthony's army. And going left to right, we have 5 Hounds, 4 Skull Crushers, 10 Slaanesh Knights, with, they all have ensorcelled weapons. In the middle there, we have 1 chariot on the left. I believe these are unmarked chariots. They might be marked to Khorne, but I don't think they were for this game. Then we have his block of halberd-wielding Khorne warriors, so they're frenzied. The BSB, who I believe is kitted out defensively, and Anthony's level 4, who's going to be using Shadow in this game. We have another chariot on the right-hand side of that block, and then on the right-hand side, his winged Demon Prince, another Chimera, and 5 more Hounds. The idea behind this is that it's a fast, mobile, and aggressive force. The Demon Prince has a 2-up or a 1-up armor save, a charmed shield, pardon me, and then the ward save. The 2 Chimeras have regen, and their job is to kind of body check for him to block cannonballs and that kind of stuff. Here's a shot of my army list. If you want to pause it, now's a good time. Like I said, not a huge amount of changes. In previous games, I don't remember because it's been a while since we played these games, but in jumping my list from 2,500 to 3,000, I don't know that I was actually meeting a legal min core last time. So instead of having the detachments hanging on the greatswords for stubborn, now they're going to hang on the swordsmen instead to bring me up to min core. One commentary on that, I really like Stubborn. Stubborn's awesome. Stubborn's very useful in, say, woods or rivers, or, you know, in a losing combat with detachments. However, given the recent reading I did of the FAQ for Empire, a parent unit that is steadfast relative to the detachment's combat. So let's say, hypothetically, 10 handgunners are down to 2 models and are going to break to, like, say, a chariot. If they're within 3 inches of the parent company of swordsmen, and the parent regiment, I should say, is steadfast relative to who the handgunners would be losing to, then the handgunners test at their actual steadfast leadership, which is completely bonkers and kind of renders Stubborn moot in a detachment-heavy Empire army. So that's kind of cool. I don't really have a chance to use it too much given my normal list, so I figured now would be a good time to try that out. Left to right, we have the Pegasus Captain. We have 5 Pistoliers, 4 Demigryph Knights with a Musician. We have 29 Swordsmen with the level 4 of Death. The 10 Handgunners and the 15 Free Company Militia are hanging off of that unit. We have the Artillery Battery with a Hellblaster volley gun and a Great Cannon. A Master Engineer is in the back there within 3 inches of both to help crew them. And then we have a block, I believe, of 25 or 30 great swords in bus formation with a Warrior Priest acting as General and a Captain BSB. Both of them have a 4-up word save, and I think that unit also has the Iron Curse icon. Hanging off of the great swords are 2 units of 5 skirmishing archers. One commentary real quick on the choice of the Battle Wizard Lord being from the lore of Death. I don't like Death as a generalist lore for the Empire Army. I think it's great lore. I just don't think it capitalizes or synergizes particularly well with Empire, the list that I usually run. However, once again, this is a Brawler's Bash preparation game for Anthony. And in Brawler's Bash, there are a ton of scenarios or other special rules which will provide you with significant victory point bonuses for killing off enemy characters, killing off enemy wizards, killing off entire units, or in any way sort of using very offensive character assassination type magic successfully. So given that I'm trying to present to Anthony the hardest type of list I think that he'll encounter in his Brawler's Bash experience, I went ahead and used a Death Wizard. So that's just a quick explanation as to why I have that guy in that unit. And then on the right-hand side, we have 11 Inner Circle Knights, a Warrior Priest with a 1-up, the Celestial Hurricanum, another Great Cannon, and the Steam Tank. Here are the shots of the spells that I had for my Death Wizard, and here are the shots that Anthony had between his level 4 of Shadow in the Khorne Warrior block and his level 2 of Nurgle, the Demon Prince. So Vanguard movements, the dogs and the Pistoliers kind of tussle like so, and the dogs on the other side advance like that. I believe Empire wins the roll to go first. The Pegasus Captain declares a charge on the Warhounds. The Warhounds hold. The Steam Tank attempts to generate 4 steam points. Misfires, gets the result where it gets 2 additional steam points and takes 2 wounds. Steam Tank moves aggressively into the center of the table, and everybody else kind of just shuffles. The Pistoliers pull back into the middle because I don't really want them giving Anthony's flying monsters an accelerated charge by way of an overrun. So yeah, here's just a shot to show how aggressively the tank moved. Ordinarily I only go for 4 steam points, use 3 of them on movement, but with 6 I can do 3d6 inches of movement and then a 36-inch range cannon. So we're just going to go right for that Demon Prince and try to knock him out of the sky. The Pegasus Captain kills 3 hounds, breaks them, and does not pursue. It was very unlikely that I would get, I would probably have caught the dogs, but then I would be stuck sitting in front of both the Demon Prince and the Chimera, and then I have no chance to get away with them. Right now I can kind of play games and bait them. So here's the board going into the bottom of turn 1, Warriors of Chaos. The Demon Prince declares a charge on the Peg Captain. He then flees, does not run off the board. And you can see that the rest of the army moves up really aggressively. The Hounds kind of advance ahead of both the Skull Crushers and the Slaanesh Knights. The 2 Chariots in the center just kind of keep pace with the Warriors of Chaos. The Demon Prince fails his charge, ends up going up a few inches. One of the Chimeras flies in front of him to body check. And then the other Chimera flies up right behind the Peg Captain, but also to give him a good charge on my right flank. I believe the magic phase was relatively inconsequential. We have no combat, so we go into Empire turn 2. The Peg Captain fails to rally, runs off the board. The Inner Circle Knights declare a charge on the Warhounds. I'm almost certain to eliminate them all, and then with an overrun, I think I need a 7-inch overrun to contact the Slaanesh Knights. I do not have a good solution to Anthony's extremely heavily weighted flanks in this. He's got almost 1,000 points out on each flank here and then 1,000 points in the center. I'm relatively confident that I can handle the Warriors of Chaos in the center and the 2 Chariots just with redirection and the amount of shooting I have in the center of the table. But I need to get I need to kind of punch through one of these 2 flanks here. So I'm hoping that the Inner Circle Knights will overrun, contact the Slaanesh Knights, and then with strength 6 hits and 3-up armor saves, etc., I'll do pretty good. In the magic phase, I cast the Caress of Lanif, the I think only the 20, I think the regular version or whatever, the pardon me, the 24-inch version. I think I cast it on like 3 or 4 dice, and it goes off on Anthony's level 4 and does 2 wounds. However, in the process, I get it with Irresistible Force, which causes a miscast, and the miscast the wizard gets sucked into the warp and does a strength 10 large template. It kills one of the Free Company militia and kills 10 models off of the swordsman. Everybody passes their panic check, but this is kind of a big bummer. In the shooting phase, a cannonball hits the Chimera, kills it, bounces through, hits the Demon Prince and does 2 wounds to him, and the other cannon misfires. Hellblaster Volley Gun opens up on the Warriors of Chaos with the Master Engineer assisting. The Pistoliers and various other shooting cause Anthony to pick up 10 Warriors. So that's pretty good given their relative distance and the fact that I got redirectors between them and me. In combat, the Inner Circle Knights blow up the Hounds. I think a Hound actually manages to kill a Knight, which is amusing, but in the overrun, I get like 2 or 3 threes, something like that. So I end up only going 3 inches, and now I'm parked. Now I'm a sitting duck right in front of the Knights and in front of the Skull Crushers. So that's a pretty big bummer. So here we go into Warriors of Chaos, turn 2, the bottom of turn 2. The Skull Crushers and the Slaanesh Knights declare a charge on the Inner Circle Knights. I'm like 3 inches away, so I'm almost certain to get caught. So we hold and accept. The Chariot to the left of the Warriors block charges the Celestial Hurricanum, who holds. I probably could have gotten away, but given the density on that part of the table, I think I might have like bounced off. Even if I ran like the minimum distance to bounce through that stuff, I probably would have gone off the table. So I'm pretty confident that the Chariot won't kill the Hurricanum, and maybe I'll get 1 round of delaying. The Warriors of Chaos charge into the Archers, who hold in order to act as a speed bump. And then the Demon Prince and the Chariot to the right of the Warrior block charge the Demigriffs. In close combat, I believe Anthony's magic was relatively inconsequential. I don't remember what he did. It's possible he tried to cast something, and I don't think I dispulsed it because my wizard is dead, but I probably just got lucky. The Inner Circle Knights are like, brutally savaged by the Skull Crushers and the Chaos Knights. Break them, they flee, are caught and run down. The Skull Crushers end up hanging out in front of that cannon on the left-hand side of my deployment. However, that stone that's in front of the cannon is going to count as impassable. The Slaanesh Knights overrun into the steam tank and have charged into that. The Chariot does 4 wounds to the Celestial Hurricanum. The Celestial Hurricanum needs to hold on like a 4 and gets it. I think it's not even a 4. Yeah, probably a 4, actually. Charge and 4 wounds, so yeah, from Leadership 9. So yeah, it needs to hold on a 4 and gets it. And the Chaos Warriors wipe out the Archers and take the opportunity to overrun a few more inches. In close combat over here, the Demigriffs weather the impact hits, weather the attacks from the Demon Prince. I believe this is a combination of the Demon Prince. He hits on 2s. He has the striking sword, by the way. Anthony rolled very poorly, and then he's strength 5 or strength 6, and I just happened to make a lot of 4-up and 3-up armor saves. Then the Demigriffs attack back. I put the 3 left-hand model attacks on the Chariot, kill it outright, and then the remaining guy causes no wounds to the Demon Prince. So it's actually a win for... I think I win that combat, but the Demon Prince is unbreakable, so he holds. So here's what the board looks like going into Empire turn 3. The steam tank generates 4 steam points. In the process, actually, I can't remember how many steam points I went for, but it misfires. I don't believe that this is... I'm trying to remember how many steam points I ended up with here. In any event, it misfires again. I think I take 2 or 3 additional wounds from this misfire. So I'm at 5 wounds before the combat's even begun, which is kind of a bummer. The Pistoliers loop around back to harass the Chaos Warriors. In shooting, because I have no magic right now besides prayers, the Hellblaster Volley Gun, the Pistoliers, and the Handgunners, etc. all open up on the Chaos Warriors and kill off another 8 models, bringing him down to the BSB, the level 4, and the command models plus I think like 2 other guys. The archers have positioned themselves in front once again to redirect, and if the chariot can't overrun, it'll probably just kill the Hurricanum, and the angle of the skirmishing archers will force the Corn Warriors to overrun into the chariot or the steam tank and take them away from my battle line. I fire Grape Shot from the cannon here at the Skull Crushers. It misfires and destroys itself, so that's just great. And in a very surprising close combat, the Demon Prince strikes out again. He doesn't get stomps against cavalry or anything like that. He causes like 1 unsaved wound to a Demigryph. Then the 3 models that are in base contact with him just roll a bunch of 6s. He's Mark a Nurgle, so he's -1 to be hit. He's weapon skill like 9, so I'm hitting him only on 6s. But then once you hit him, it's a 5-up, he's toughness 5 and I'm strength 5 on the Demigryphs, so it's forced to wound. And then he's got to make a 3-up or, I think it's like a 3-up or a 4-up armor save and then a 5-up ward. He had already taken 2 wounds, and I managed to sneak 2 more in this combat, and that destroys his Demon Prince, which was very surprising. I expected this guy to be a way bigger pain in the ass than he was. I don't remember what I did after this combat. I probably just left the Demigryphs facing the Chimera that's on the right flank. Yeah, here you go. Here's a shot of the board at the end of Empire turn 3 going into Warriors of Chaos turn 3. The Skull Crushers, I believe, reform to get around that impassable rock there. This might be... Oh, pardon me. This is before Anthony's movement. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get ahead of myself there. This is to show that the chariot killed off the Hurricane's remaining wound and then reformed to face the core of my army in the center there. So, beginning Anthony's turn, he declares a charge with the Chimera on the Free Company. They pass their terror check and they hold. He charges the skirmishing archers with the Corn Warriors, and he charges the chariot into the flank of the handgunners. And I'm relatively okay with this because what I envision happening here is that Anthony will kill the skirmishing archers to a man. He'll either overrun or not. Actually, he's frenzied, so he has to overrun, and he'll be hanging out right in front of the greatswords. The handgunners there will take grievous casualties to a charge on the flank from the chariot. But I don't believe they'll be eliminated to the man. They are within 3 inches of the parent unit, so they'll be testing on leadership 9 with a reroll. So yeah, it's kind of gamey, but that's why I take detachments in this list. And what I'm hoping is that as Anthony's guy moves into the depleted unit, he'll give me the necessary clearance to charge this unit of Chaos Warriors and wipe them out and score those points. The steam tank has taken another wound, but otherwise this combat's pretty whatever. And the dogs, Anthony puts them in front of the Demigryphs just to be a pain in the neck. So here's the Skull Crushers post like shuffle to get around that impassable rock. The steam tank takes another wound in the prolonged combat with the Slaanesh Chaos Knights. If these pictures look a little bit familiar, it's because my camera ran out of batteries at this point, and I'm reusing some of Anthony's pictures. It's also why this report was so delayed too. That and like Easter and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, moving on. The chariot blows up the handgunners, kills them to like 9, I think does 9 wounds, some ridiculous number of wounds. They then proceed to blow 2 back-to-back leadership 9 checks, break, are run down, and the chariot then flank charges the swordsman. So it's like, oh, okay, all that, all the plans of mice and men don't really matter. Okay. And then the Chimera, that dice, I didn't feel like picking up these Free Company who were not long for this world and then trying to re-rank them because they're very dynamic and unique in their posing, which is just shorthand for a huge pain in the ass to rank up. So that's to show that there are only 5 models left, or that he did 5 wounds, or something along those lines. It doesn't really matter. They are like totally dog meat in this combat. So beginning of Empire turn, I charge the Demigryphs at the Warhounds. The Warhounds flee. I catch them, and I forget that you can take a leadership check to reform, so I'm just stuck kind of hanging out in the breeze here because I don't remember the rules to the game. The Pistoliers continue to follow. As you can see, the Chaos Warriors overran from their overran from their butchering of the skirmishing archers, pardon me. Generate 3 steam points on the tank. I have a nice flank charge with that flank shot with the cannon down the Chaos Warrior unit and potentially into the Skull Crushers. Plus, I have another shot with the Hellblaster. So somebody's getting picked apart. But I fire the cannon. It hits the Wizard Lord, who can no longer take a lookout, sir. He fails his ward save and dies. It then only bounces like 2 inches or something and kills another Chaos Warrior. And then in shooting, the Hellblaster Volley Gun and the Pistoliers kill off the rest of the remaining Chaos Warriors. However, the Battle Standard Bearer makes all of his relevant armor or ward saves, I forget which, and is left hanging out by his lonesome. But you know, he's either frenzied or not. I can't remember. He probably had just passed his leadership checks. The Chimera is a complete beast in this combat and kills that unit down to 1 model. I forget if I'm within 3 inches and testing on my full leadership or if I rolled Snake Eyes. I honestly don't remember. But at the end of the day, the Chimera is left with a single Free Company militiaman locked in combat. The chariot hits like a ton of bricks, kills 9 swordsmen. However, I am steadfast, reform, and now I'm facing him. The beginning of Anthony's turn, the Skull Crushers do not charge. They continue to bring themselves in like so. The Battle Standard Bearer moves as far away. You can kind of see in the lower right-hand corner here that the Chaos Knights, I've just been completely impervious to my grinds. Like it's Anthony's making 4-up armor saves, and it's just, I'm not making any headway with the steam tank on that unit. So at this point, I'm kind of wondering what the final matchup is going to be. It's looking a lot like it's going to be Great Swords into Skull Crushers, and I'm not liking those odds simply because he'll be able to direct a ton of attacks onto my characters, and that'll be bad news bears. But so in a surprising turn of events, the Chariot, without its impact hits, like completely strikes out, or I make my parry saves or something, some ridiculous combination of events, loses combat, breaks from the swordsman catch it and overrun until they're almost in base contact with the great swords and are kind of plugged up there. The steam tank takes another wound in this combat. Oh, there you go. I guess I did cause some wounds. So yeah, it's down to 6 Chaos Knights, and I have 4 wounds left on the steam tank. No, I have 2 wounds left. Pardon me. It's got 8 wounds right now. So here's what the board looks like at the end of Empire movement. The Pistoliers follow the Battle Standard Bearer to continue their harassment against him, and I can't charge them because he'll probably actually just you know, beat the shit out of them in combat. The Swordsmen, with no wizard to protect, are just going to act as a sacrificial lamb here. They're going to stand right in front of the Skull Crushers, pretty much block them up. Anthony can't charge anyone but them, and then with his overrun, he'll be turning his flank right to the Great Swords. So I'm kind of sacrificing the Swordsman here to try and set up a combat where I'm really confident that the Great Swords will be able to win it. The Chimera had eliminated the last remaining Free Company militia. I fire the cannon at the Skull Crushers just to pick up a, you know, like maybe kill 1 Skull Crusher or whatever, and it misfires and destroys itself. And I fire the Hellblaster Volley Gun at the Chimera and do not kill it. I was really reasonably confident that I was going to blow up that Chimera with the Hellblaster Volley Gun at short range with the Engineer manning it, and I just did not roll really well. It was a very bad roll on the Hellblaster Volley Gun's number of shots, and then Anthony made a bunch of regen saves. So at the beginning of Chaos, Chaos turn, turn 5, I think? Yeah, I think this is turn 5. The Chimera declares a charge on the Hellblaster Volley Gun, and the Skull Crushers declare a charge on the Swordsman. The Chimera blows up the Hellblaster Volley Gun and overruns into the Great Swords. The Skull Crushers blow up the Swordsman and overrun that away. This is a huge bummer because instead of blowing up the Chimera and having my Greatswords free to flank or even rear charge the Skull Crushers, not that a rear charge is great because then I'll have even more guys in base contact with Skull Crushers as opposed to a flank, but like between +2 combat res, +3 ranks, a standard, a battle standard, a charge, etc., on their rear, I'm very likely to beat them, break them, and, well, I'm not really likely to run them down. At least they'll be fleeing and they'll lose their frenzy, and I have demigriffs chilling right over there to rough them up. But now I've got to deal with this Chimera on my flank, and that is just like, oh my god. And he's in base contact with my general, of course. So in a absolute fit of desperation, and Anthony went into good detail on this on his video. I encourage you to watch it if you haven't already. It's a little bit in the past, so I'm sure everybody's already seen it. But at this point, I am like really, really bad at math, and I cannot add up army lists to save my life when we're at the table. So I'm sitting here, and in my mental math, I am thinking that if it's not an even game right now, I am like ahead in points with the elimination of the Demon Prince, 1 Chimera, all the chariots, the Chaos Warrior block, and his level 4. I'm thinking that I'm in the lead. So I am like, or if I'm not in the lead, it is like less than 100 points either which way. So I'm sitting here like, I don't think I should do this, because if I throw those demigriffs into those skull crushers, these skull crushers are probably going to beat the shit out of them, and then I'm going to end up throwing away another 250 points. So I'm really like, I don't think I should do this. Anthony's like, there's no way you wouldn't do this in a tournament, because this is the difference between winning and losing, and the demigriffs are not bad on the charge at all. I'm not liking my odds here. And I'm thinking like maybe I should reform, maybe I should march and just take myself completely out of their charge arc or something. But we have this really silly back and forth argument, and I have to reiterate, entirely because I am retarded and cannot add up the amount of victory points that each side has accrued. Because at this point, Anthony's actually winning, and no matter what's going to happen, he's going to end up picking up even more victory points. So it's like this was much ado about nothing. So I commit a charge into the Skull Crushers, and the Steam Tank grinds a few more times and takes the Chaos Knights down to 4 models. The Chimera kills my Warrior Priest on the charge, however, with putting all of his attacks on the Warrior Priest, and then going down to Stomps or whatever. The Great Swords win combat handily. They break the Chimera and run him down. So that's where they end up pretty much hanging out with the Master Engineer there, although I've lost my General. The Pistoliers have failed to cause any wounds to the Battle Standard Bearer. He just is extremely defensively kitted out. The Steam Tank takes another wound in the close combat with the Slaanesh Chaos Knights, so now he has 1 wound left, and there are 4 knights in base contact with him. So this is about as razor's edge as it can get for the Steam Tank. If I had not misfired earlier in the game, it wouldn't be nearly as close. But that's where I find myself at the end of the game here. And the Skull Crushers take, like, they give no fucks. They take the Demigriff charge, they pass all their saves, they take no wounds, and they just plow right the fuck over those Demigriffs. So my worst fears are confirmed, because I lose like 2 Demigriffs before I even get a chance to swing, and then I just whiff my attacks, and or you know, Anthony makes all his saves. So it's like, oh, okay, great. We go into Warriors of Chaos turn. There's no point in showing anything else on the board, because he's not going to put his BSB, and the Skull Crushers are already riding off into the sunset. The 4 Chaos Knights do the last remaining wound to the Steam Tank, netting Anthony another 250 victory points right there. So with turn 5 to turn 6, that's like a 700-point swing to Anthony right there between the Demigriffs, the Steam Tank, the General that is Chimera assassinated, plus 100 bonus victory points for the Chimera. So it's like, if it was close, which it wasn't because I'm bad at math, but if it had been close, it is now a complete blowout victory, Warriors of Chaos. Like I said, major victory, Warriors of Chaos. As a quick commentary on this game, having 3 cannons is not something I usually take with Empire. I'm trying to run a more gunline, more reactive Empire army, because I feel like that's fairer for Anthony, because I don't think that he's going to be facing sort of weirdo, aggressive, hybrid lists like the one I usually take at 2,500 points. The Death Wizard is just extremely effective against the Monster Mash. Any number of pardon me, direct damage spells that I can allocate on the Demon Prince
one of them is going to start to punch through that 5-up ward save. 2 of them or 3 of them is going to be a dead warrior priest. Dead demon prince. Sorry, my head is just completely scattered right now. Once the demon prince goes down, so does leadership 9, and the chimeras are like leadership 4 or leadership 5. So like a 1 on a d6 for Spirit Leech is going to easily start to cut into those chimeras. Now it just was I was very unlucky with the miscast result. However, I can't complain totally because killing the Demon Prince in close combat with the Demigryphs was extremely unlikely. In any event, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle report. I'm sorry that it's so late. I just, between Easter and everything going on with the family, and the fact that I had to kind of like cobble it together from Anthony's pictures as well as mine, meant that it was just kind of went on the back burner. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle report. Thank you very much. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below, and I'd love to respond to them. So take it easy. Have a good one.